The college basketball experience, Western Athletic Conference, a.k.a. the WAC, on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog is hooking up new customers. Play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you use our sign-up code TCESGPN. And welcome, everybody, into the college basketball experience, the Wacky Whack edition, baby. This conference, the final year of this version of the WAC, they merge with the ASUN next year. 7 teams. We are down to 7 teams in this league, so this may be the shortest preview that we do of all 31 leagues. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac Tonight over here at the College Experience. And joining me to talk to Wacky Whack, you guys know him from the great state of Michigan, not the great state of Detroit. Great state of Michigan. He is a LeBaron driving, cocktail napkin having. He is Noah Bienick, a.k.a. Noah B77. What's up, brother?
What's going on, guys? And Mac, I'm excited to talk about the WAC. Last year of this iteration of the WAC, and then we've got the UAC, the United Athletic Conference. Like you mentioned, them combining with the ASUN. Last year, the winner of the league was Utah Valley in the regular season. Neither one of us had that picked. However, we did peg the conference tournament champion, which was Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, we both had them sweeping last year, so that's where we went wrong. They finished 13-3. Utah Valley 15-1. For sleeper, I had Seattle, and they went 8-8. So I don't know if I can necessarily check that box. They finished tied for 4th in the conference, and you had Tarleton, Tarleton State, who goes 7-9 and finishes 6th in the league. I don't think that was a sleeper, but I don't think I hit my bust. If they just went 7-9, 1 game out of 500, I don't think that's necessarily as bad as I predicted them last year. I think I picked them second to last. And for your disappointment, you got one correct, one check in our box for UT Arlington as your disappointment. They finished 6-10 in conference, 13-18 overall. So tip of the cap, you got the best out of me, or best of me in the WAC preview. Mac, how does it feel to kind of have the top rung going into the final year of this iteration?
Yeah, I forgot that how dominant Utah Valley was going back and looking at the standings. I mean, 15-1 in league play. That was a big time year for them. And I totally forgot Grand Canyon did not win the regular season, but they did rally because it's basically a home game whenever they play out there in Vegas. So Bryce Drew gets them back to the dance. Now they're off to the Mountain West. And then I'm looking forward to seeing how they fit out there. But yeah, it kind of sucks to see this league fall apart, to be honest.
Yeah, you talked about it. Grand Canyon heading to the Mountain West, Seattle, West Coast Conference. We lose 2 of the pivotal players in this league for this upcoming season. And yeah, we also have a couple of new head coaches, I do believe. Yeah. No, we don't. Not for this year.
No, there's a bunch in the Big South. Which
we were prepping for the Big South.
Yeah, there's a ton in the Big South, ton of turnover. But yeah, no turnover here in this league. So, anything you want to? Yeah, this will be. I'm telling you, this will be the quickest preview. This will not drag out more than an hour. So, let me hit one ad, and then we will dive into the WAC here. The NHL is back, and so is the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Join Ryan, Joel, as they break down the biggest game storylines, awards, and best bets throughout the season. Let it slide. All right, Noah Bienick, let's get over here. YouTube.com/college experience. We got slides, the WAC preview. First up on the dock, we go to Abilene Christian. Brette Tanner headed into, I think it's year 6 now. Sorry, pulling up my notes as I transition over from the ad reads. Last year, 16-16. They've kind of been around 500 for a bunch of the tenure here under Tanner. 70-62 overall. 16-18 the year before. They did finish in the top 4 or tie for top 4 last year. 36-36 in his 4 years in WAC play. So this has been a 500 program. Year 1 was his best year, going 25-11, but it's kind of been right around the mean or the median here in this WAC. What's your take on the Wildcats here in year 25-26, Noah?
Yeah, Coach Tanner's had back-to-back 500 seasons in conference, which is, to me, really concerning considering that Abilene Christian had a top 100 defense last year nationally, but the offense was rated a dismal 330th. The Wildcats lose 3 starters, but they do return 54% of their minutes, which in this league is by far the most. And Torvik has Abilene Christian as the second most experienced preseason roster in the WAC. Hopefully some continuity with the offense doesn't keep it inept. Hopefully there's a little bit of development here because they do return one of their main ball handlers from last year, Rich Smith, who averaged 3 assists a game last year in 21 and a half minutes, 5 points per game, 2.5 boards. He's a 6'2 senior. Then Joseph Van Zant played 20 minutes a game last season as well, averaged 4 boards a game, just about 1 steal per game as well. He's a redshirt senior 6'2 guard. And then Braden Hubbard played 23 and a half minutes a game last year, averaged 10 and 5.5, was 49.5% from the floor, 42.5% from deep on 1.5 attempts per game. This year, Cade Horniker is expected to take a big step up in production. He's a 7-footer, only had 9.5 minutes a game last season, but expected to play a big role on that defense for sure for Abilene Christian this year. Other returners, Yaniel Rivera, Christian Alston, and Mashai Hill. Incoming from the transfer portal is Shaladrian Newton from Grambling State. He only played 20 minutes a season ago per game for the Tigers in his first year of college ball. He's a redshirt sophomore 6'3 guard, but shot at 47% from 3. So they're kind of expecting him to be more of the shooter alongside Rich Smith and Braden Hubbard if he shoots a little bit more this season as well. You have Charlie Yoder coming in from NAIA New College, who played 37.5 minutes a game, averaged 26.5, 8.5, and 3.5 as a 6'2 senior guard. Shot at 54% from the floor, 42.5% from 3 on 3.5 attempts a game. And Zy Wright from D2 Shadron State. He shot 35.5% from deep on 3.5 attempts per game in 29 minutes, 14 points per game, 6.5 boards. He's a 6'5 senior wing. They've really tried to improve the outside shooting, and hopefully the offense gets better with some of these hand-picked portal gets, because they didn't do it by volume. They have some guys that are returning throughout the program, and just hoping to supplement that offense a little bit. Overall, I think Abilene Christian should be pretty, I would say the floor is high because of that defense. And if the offense takes some steps up, I see this team finishing above 500 where they finished last year, 8-8. It's not a very high bar, Mac.
I think they're a contender this year in the WAC with the new look wide open WAC. It's worth noting too, Tanner has been with Abilene since 2013. He was with Golding when they pulled off the upset, beat the Longhorns in the NCAA tournament. So this guy's been around this program. They have an identity, defense, toughness. So the floor, I think, is 500 like last year, but with a lot coming back, or I don't even know if it's a lot coming back, but a solid amount coming back.
Yeah. For this league, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's by far the most, and they're old. So I kind of think if they're gonna win the WAC, it's got to be this year for Tanner. So I have him as a contender here in the WAC. And shout out to WAC Hoops Nation. Good follow on Twitter. He's in the chat. He said Hubbard is WAC Player of the Year candidate coming into the season. I agree. This could be Tanner's best and biggest team in his tenure. So I think they could have a year like they did his first year, where they won 25 games. I like this team coming into the year. Next up on the dock, we got Rick Croy over at Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist, he's been at Cal Baptist since 2013. They transitioned from D2 to D1 back in 2018. Last year, solid year. They finished third in the league, 17-15 overall. They've hovered around the 500 mark too, under Croy as well. 16-17 the year before, 17-16 the year before that, 18-16, 13-10. They've bounced around that kind of 4 to 8 range in this league until last year they were finally able to crack the top 3. No, what's your take on these Cal Baptist Lancers headed into next year?
Yeah, like you just mentioned, they really hover right around 500. Just twice has Cal Baptist actually cleared that 500 record in the WAC under Coach Rick Croy. And in all 7 seasons, the Lancers have not once had a top half defense in defensive efficiency, according to KenPom. And the offense hasn't been good enough to supplement that or to carry that and be the weight of this team during Croy's tenure. So looking for a little bit of improvement on both sides of the floor. Offensively, I think you have one of the better guard duos this year in this conference with Dominic Daniels Jr., a 5'10 grad senior guard who's probably going to play the point this year. Played 35 minutes a game last year, averaged 19.5 points per game, 3 assists, 2.5 boards. He's a volume shooter and will probably take a lot of this team's shots this season. But, I mean, overall, you're looking at 7 seniors probably in this rotation. And Martell Williams and Miles Daniels are probably going to help out in that backcourt. Maybe even a little bit of Chase Mayo Harmon as well. But Martell Williams returns. He played 22 minutes a game last year, shot 37% from deep on 2.5 attempts per game. He averaged 9 points per game, just about a steal per game as well, along with Dominic Daniels. Both of them pretty good on the back end there last year. Chase Mayo Harmon is a D2 transfer from Regis, shot 33% from 3 on 6 attempts per game, averaged 15.5 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. And Miles Daniels, a 6'2 grad senior from Chico State, a Division II school. He shot 34% from 3 in 34 minutes per game. He averaged 11 points per game and 4.5 boards with 4 assists. Also returning from last year, 7-footer Brady Henige. In his freshman year, he played 11 minutes a game, shot 63.5% in limited attempts, but another really nice rim protector to have in this league. And to go along with some wings that are expected to start this year, both of them coming in from Northern Arizona, Jaden Jackson and Monty Bowser, both of them grad seniors. Jackson's the big name here. Played 32 minutes a game for the Lumberjacks last year, averaged 12.5 points, 3.5 boards, 3.5 assists. And Bowser, on the other hand, shot 39% from deep on 2.5 attempts per game in only 18.5 minutes per game. So he's another really nice piece with possibly an expanded role. He could be a nice, wing offensively, 3-and-D guy for the Lancers this season. One other senior coming in from the transfer portal is Devin Malcolm from Yuba Junior College, who he put up 16 points per game with 6.5 boards and 2 assists as well. Got a couple of freshmen in the mix, Oregon State walk-on transfer coming in as well. Cal Baptist overall, I think that this should be a step in the right direction for the Lancers, who, like we've said, hovered around 500 a lot in Croy's tenure. I think they should be right around that mark in this league standings once again.
I tend to agree. I think that this should be a top half of the league team, like the returning production in the backcourt coming back. So, and Croy, like you said, Honestly, you could say a lot of the same things with Abilene and Cal Baptist in terms of the floor always being high because although they're different in how they play, I would say Cal Baptist is more offensively a better team than Abilene, who Abilene just hangs their hat on out toughing you on the defensive side. They get it done different ways, but their coaching staffs, a lot of continuity year after year, will keep you around 500. So I think that Cal Baptist top 3 team in this league. So we started off with 2 good ones here to start. I'll tell you what else is good. That is our friends over at MyBookie. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. So head over there to mybookie.ag and use our promo code TCESUPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Novig is getting your best prices, available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 off when you spend $5 and use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action. Novig promo code SGPN. All right, we continue our journey here in the Wacky Whack. Next up on the dock, is it going to load? We have Southern Utah. We go over to Rob Jeter, who is headed into year number 3 there out at Southern Utah. Jeter was at Western Illinois before that. He was at Milwaukee. Before that, he took Milwaukee to 2 different NCAA tournaments. He actually won an NCAA tournament game in his first year. So a guy that's been around the block, had success. A couple tough years here to start, but Southern Utah was not a very good program for the most part. I know Todd Simon had success, but before that, Southern Utah had really struggled. So Simon did a great job. We'll see if Jeter can finally put together a good year here in year number 3, Noah.
Yeah, I really liked Simon, but in 2 seasons, Coach Rob Jeter hasn't been able to really leave a true impression yet. First season, the Thunderbirds had a league worst defense, and the second season, it was a league worst offense, bottom 3 defense, and 1 less tally in the conference win column, headed in the wrong direction there. And the good news for Southern Utah is that on paper, according to Torvik this year, they have the most experienced preseason roster in the WAC, but a lot of it is due to incoming transfers. Najib Muhammad is a D2 transfer from Lubbock Christian and is probably going to be one of the key cogs of this offense. Probably the point guard, because last year he averaged 4 assists per game, over a steal per game as well. Averaged 12.5 points and 3.5 boards in 31 minutes at Lubbock Christian last year. Shot 45.5% from the floor, 33% from deep on 3.5 attempts per game. But they're looking to add the 3 ball as a big element to this offense. None more than Dylan Jones that will be able to do that for them. Shot it at 39% last year on 6.5 attempts at Fairleigh Dickinson and just 24.5 minutes per game. He's a 6'5" senior wing who only averaged 9.5 points per game. This is a guy that's going to be one of their main guys in the rotation that's going to be on the floor probably 30 minutes a game. And alongside of him will probably be Zach Bell, a 6'2" junior from Jacksonville. He averaged 9 and 3 with 1.5 assists, 1.5 steals per game, shot at 46.5% from the floor. Jalen Lee is a 6'7" sophomore last year in his freshman year at Long Island. He only played 17.5 minutes a game, averaged 5.5 and 2.5. And then the expected starting 5 here for Southern Utah is Isaiah Cottrell, a 6'11" senior forward who only played 9 minutes a season ago at UNLV. They have on the bench Jaden Faroa from Holy Cross. He played 25 minutes a game, averaged 7 and 6 last year for the Crusaders. Shot the ball 50.5% from the floor, 39% from 3. Look for him to be a good piece in that front court, add some really good depth. Shooks Itsua comes in from Fresno State, where he redshirted last year. And they've got a couple of JUCO incomers, Jalen Walton and Tanner Hayhurst, that may play a pivotal role. alongside Muhammad and Jones in that backcourt. UAC Riak, there's no way I pronounced that right, but he's a D2 transfer from Drury. And then rounding out the transfer portal class is Langston Binns from Utah Valley in conference transfer. To me, there's a lot of moving
Unknown.
parts with
Yeah.
this roster, and overall, not a lot of winning D1 programs and D2 programs that honestly I had to do a little bit of research on, which that shouldn't mean anything, but not programs that I knew off the top of my head to be quality and good to transfer out of D2 into D1. So we'll see how Southern Utah pans out this season. Jeter hasn't given me anything to really bet on for this upcoming season. Ultimately, I think I'm going to have them 7th out of 7 for this year's and preview. Mac, how do you feel?
I'm torn because yeah, Jeter hasn't shown it at Southern Utah, but I thought he did a good job at Western Illinois the last 2 years there. I mean, if you're 500 at Western Illinois, that's pretty good. That's a tough job. And I thought he was good at Milwaukee. So I think that they can maybe take a little bit of a step here, but it's hard for me to get on here and say this team is going to finish in the top half with all the unknowns. I do like that they're super old, so it is a veteran team, but I will say there's probably still going to be in the bottom half at the end of the episode for me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The team, baby. Billy Gillispie, he's back 7 days ago, reinstated, just like that. Nice little investigation down there in the state of Texas. Boom. Done. It's over.
Yeah, that was cleared up pretty quick.
Billy Clyde, baby. I mean, I think Billy Gillispie is one of the really good coaches of all time. I know Kentucky fans don't like him, but he was never a good fit at Kentucky. He was great at A&M. He was great at UTEP. You see his win total or his wins over there, 226 career wins. And that doesn't even include his 100 wins at the JUCO level. I forgot to put that in there as well. So Gillispie last year was disappointing though. 12-20. They were super, super young.
It was to be expected. Yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about it in the preview last year that they were a team we wanted to fade in the non-con, but that I thought Gillispie would get them going in league play. And they did to a certain degree, going 7-9. So, I mean, what were they headed into league play? 5-11. But 25-10 the year before, that was not Gillispie actually that coached them, or he coached, I believe, the first half, and then he had the health issues and had to step away from the team. They still credited Gillispie with all those wins. So classic Gillispie finds a way to finagle the system, baby. But he's just an overall good coach. His teams are always tough defensively. They're going to need to be a little bit better offensively next year, though, because they were abysmal last year.
I would have loved to have seen a little bit more continuity from that extremely young roster that they had last year, but in today's day and age with the transfer portal, a lot of them depart. But they do return a couple of guys from last year that played 20 minutes a game, and Jordan Mizell, who was a freshman last year, averaged just 5.5 points, 3.5 boards, a 6'1" guard there. And then Chris Paca, who played 20 minutes a game, averaged 8.5 and 5.5, and shot 50% from the floor in limited attempts. Those are the two returners, alongside Joseph Martinez, who played 17 minutes a game but didn't really attribute much to the offense last year. The newcomers this year are like the interesting pieces or parts of this team. You have the ever maligned Dior Johnson, who's been everywhere in his college career, which is kind of crazy that he's going to finish it out, or I don't even know about finish because I think he's a junior. But this is a guy that started at Pitt, played some JUCO, played at UCF. Like he's now at Tarleton State with Billy Gillispie. A lot of talent, but there's something between the ears there that hasn't really clicked. Maybe something gets unlocked here with Tarleton State, but like that's their big get in the portal alongside Cameron McDowell, who was just an all-around do-it-all guy at Northwest Oklahoma State in the D2 level. Played 36.5 minutes a game last year. Put up 27.5 points, 4.5 boards, 3 assists. Shot 39% from 3 on 7.5 attempts per game and 51.5% from the floor. He's probably going to be their leading scorer this year. That's how much they're relying upon this guy. And then O'Cypher Owens was an interesting piece last year for Lemoyne in the front court. He's a 6'7" senior, probably the starting five on this team. He averaged 9 and 6 with over an assist per game out of the five for the Dolphins last year. Not a very efficient offensive piece. He only shot 47.5% from the floor, 23.5% from three, and he did like to shoot them last year at least. So it will be interesting to see kind of what comes of the front court production because both of these guys didn't really add a ton of efficiency to the teams last year alongside incomer from overseas, Mateus Vrabel. Those three are probably going to play big minutes in the front court. Two other incoming guards, AJ Dent from Itawamba, a junior college. He put up 15.5 and 8 with 2.5 assists per game. And then Kaya Isaac, a 6'4" senior who comes in from Australia. And then DJ Dormu, a 5'9" sophomore from Connors State. So that's the team for Tarleton State. What I've noticed is that the Texans have been a little bit of a seesaw program under Gillispie. Year one under 500. Year one they were 500. The year three they were a little bit under 500. Year four was the big breakthrough year, and then last year, year five, they were back under 500. I think that I want to be bullish on Gillispie being able to like mold this roster to be his own, and there's a little bit more experience than last year's. But again, I don't love the Dior Johnson ad, and relying on a couple of D2 transfers to really be your pillars of the program leaves me doubting it slightly. So I have this team in the probably 5-6 range this year.
This is a good nugget. And we touched on that Gillispie stepped away that year. It was Joseph Jones that was the head coach that year. Jones is back on staff now at Tarleton. Yeah. So I thought that was that was an underrated get. Obviously, clearly Jones played at Tarleton, and he's clearly a player's coach, and they responded that year when he was the interim, and they won 25 games. I think this team's going to be good. Gillispie back against the wall. They had an investigation. I think Gillispie a little foxhole this year, and they're going to be.
You and Colby have always been a little bit more higher on Gillispie than I have. So.
It's because we're older and we remember Gillespie's teams at A&M and UTEP. He's a veteran coach, man. I think getting Jones back on staff. They got a veteran staff as well. I know it's not a lot coming back from that team last year, but I think once we get to the WAC, I think Gillispie will have them playing their best ball. They'll be good defensively, just like Abilene Christian. And I think his health is a lot better than it was a year ago, too. Talking about Gillispie himself.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got UT Arlington. Coach Turner headed now into year number 3. I always feel like they're going to be a sleeper team, and they kind of underachieve a little bit. But, I mean, he did win 20 games his first year, 13 and 18 last year, so a little bit of a step back. They got to, I believe, did they get to the champion? It was a championship game 2 years ago before Grand Canyon knocked him out. So, Turner, year 3, I kind of think it's a little bit of a big year just with the drop from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, you are right. They kind of ran out of the building in that championship game, lost by 15, but they got there. GCU has just kind of been a little bit of a wagon in this conference, and it's going to be at least entertaining to not really know who's going to come out of the league this year outside of maybe Utah Valley. There could be some fresh blood in the final year of how this conference looks and with this name. But yeah, KT Turner at UT Arlington. He's been there for 2 years. He's had the 3rd highest rated offense in both years. It's been a pretty good offensive program for the Mavericks so far. And overall, not a whole lot of proven production on this roster to make me bullish on banking on that once again for UTA. Returners from last year in the front court, Rayshon Seamster and Cameron Jackson. Seamster's a 6'7" senior forward, played 25.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 11.5 points, 5 boards, just over an assist per game as well, shot at 53% from the floor. And Cameron Jackson's a 6'8" sophomore last year, played 7 minutes his freshman year, averaged 2 points and 2.5 boards per game. Retooling the entire backcourt here. From Troy, Marcus Rigsby played 21.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 7 2.5. Not a totally efficient shooter from deep, but he did take 4.5 a game. And then Marcel McCreary for Northern Colorado. We talked about this, Mac, where Coach Smiley at Northern Colorado didn't necessarily have that expected alpha scorer on that roster this year. This guy projected to be it for the Bears. He was a 6'4" guard. He's entering his senior year. He only played 18.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 8 points per game, but he shot at 50.5% from the field and 41.5% from three on 3 attempts per game. Again, not like proven production, but there is some reason to bank on that hitting around Basile Lester, who comes in from Harcum, probably the point guard. He averaged 6.5 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, and 14.5 points per game his freshman year there in the JUCO level. On the bench, you have Stoney Hadnot from South Dakota State. He played 17.5 minutes a game last year. Cash Chavis from Arkansas only played 6 minutes a game. And Tyron Mason, 6'6" sophomore from North Texas, who only played 7.5 minutes. All of them their freshman year barely saw the floor, and then there's 4 freshmen from the incoming class to round out the bench. The depth is young and unproven, really lacking a lot of proven production on the offensive side of the ball, which is where KT Turner has specialized. So there are other teams in this conference that I feel a little bit more bullish on having them take a step forward or finishing above 500 because there are some reasons to have a little bit of positivity. That's not necessarily the word that I was looking for there. But with UT Arlington, there's a little bit of questions about the youth and unproven production I have.
I'm with you. I have this team towards the back end of the league. There's a lot of question marks, a lot of unknown, and they're pretty young, all things considered. So Turner was able to have a nice year in year one with that experienced team last year, a little bit of a setback. I kind of think that they're going to stay towards the back half again in the WAC.
I agree.
All right, 2 teams left, but first let's hit one more ad. We are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, a great place to play fantasy pick'em where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats, available in a ton of sports action. Underdog's got a new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get 100 in bonus funds when you use the sign-up code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm is crushing college football and NFL with picks and props, giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets in the same type from any model build. You can win up to $1,000. Use our promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download the Rhythm and use promo code SGPN25. All right, next up, we got Dixie State. Yes, Dixie State. I know they call Utah Tech. You know, we were going to call it Dixie State over here at the College Experience. I even got the Dixie State logo. Look at that thing.
Well done.
I love that thing. It's a great logo. John Judkins headed. What year is Judkins in now? Judkins has been there for forever, I believe. I think he's been there since 2005. Yeah, I mean, he was there when they were at the JUCO level. Then they were over in the Pacific West Conference for 12 years. They were a really successful Division II program. Then they finally transitioned up to the WAC over here over the last 5 years. They have struggled since transitioning up to the Division I.
This hasn't been your Merrimack, the other NEC success stories from D2 to D1 transition.
No, it hasn't. I mean, his 21-22 was his best year. He went 13-18, but the other years 14-19, 11-20, 7-26. What do you think? Can they get this thing turned around? He's been there since 2005.
I actually think this is maybe his best roster he's had.
Yeah.
So I think there's some relative room for optimism here. Again, he's been there forever, though, and they haven't really been able to get this thing going at the D1 level. So I'm not quite sure how much faith I should have in this, but there are some really good pieces, and it starts with Marvel Allen. He didn't see the floor last year with Dayton, but this is a 6'4" point guard who can do a little bit of everything and can really be their floor general for, in this era of college, who knows, but hopefully for multiple seasons at Utah Tech. There is a lot of hope for this guy being able to play 25 minutes a game in his first year of college ball with the Trailblazers this year. Let's just stick on the transfers because there are some pretty highly regarded transfers in this class. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's first name, but Usain Holt. He did not play last year at Kennesaw State, but he's a 6'7" redshirt senior. And in his previous season, 2023-24, played 28 minutes a game, averaged 5.5 and 5, and shot the three ball 40%. And with Kennesaw State was a pretty good piece for the Owls there. Ethan Potter is a Utah Valley transfer in conference, but 6'8" forward who's a senior, played only 16 minutes a game last year, averaged 7 and 4. And then Noah Bienick, Belanga, maybe, a St. Bonaventure transfer. Last year as a freshman, the 6'8" forward averaged just 14 minutes a game. So they're banking on a couple of up transfers, and we'll talk about more talking about more down transfers. Sorry. They're banking on down transfers and a little bit more down transfers on the next team that we're going to talk about too. But overall, in a conference like this where more of them have been D2 JUCO guys, there's some, again, room for optimism for this year with Utah Tech, the Trailblazers under John Judkins. Chance Trujillo is the JUCO piece that Utah Tech is hopeful about. Last year, he comes in from Snow College, who went 32-2. He averaged 11 points per game, 3.5 boards, 2.5 assists. They return Samuel Aribi, a 6'8" redshirt senior forward who averaged 23 minutes per game, averaged 8.5 points, 5.5 boards, shot 35.5% from three, 48.5% from the floor. And Madiba Owana, who played 21.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 8 points per game, 2 boards for Utah Tech. I like the backcourt for the Trailblazers quite a bit. Again, not a whole lot of proven production at the D1 level, but there are some, I think, better bets on this team. But overall, I don't know how high that ceiling is in the Utah Tech program because we haven't really seen it break through yet. So I've got Utah Tech 5th. And yeah, I think that's a positive year for Judkins at Utah Tech.
I agree. I think that this is his best team in the WAC era. So last year, for whatever it's worth, I felt like they lost a lot of close games. Just looking at this, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They had 10 league losses. I know they were 2-14, so there were a lot of losses, but 10 of them were by single digits. So they were chippy, they were competitive, they just couldn't finish. I think that they could be around 500 in this league this year, this new version of the WAC. So Judkins, I think, takes a little bit of a step. I wonder when they would consider making a change, just because he's been there so long. And obviously it looks like they're headed in the wrong direction from a record standpoint. So I kind of feel like this is a big year for Judkins, back against the wall. All right, final team in this WAC. Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips did a hell of a job last year coaching this team up. 25-9, year 3. Year 1, they were 500. They make the big jump. Phillips was also a really successful junior college coach. back in the day at I'm drawing a blank on where he was at. He was at Salt Lake. Yeah. So he's a Utah guy through and through. Him and Judkins both played at Snow College in back in the day. So 2 Snow College guys here. I like what Phillips did last year. This is a good program.
Yeah, we saw what Phillips is capable of as a head coach last year. Again, a lot of people, both you and I included, thought Grand Canyon was going to run this league, and that just wasn't the case. In each of his 2 seasons at Utah Valley, Todd Phillips has had a top 100 defense nationally, and the Wolverines had also had the best offensive efficiency in the WAC last year. And you look at this team, and there's some unproven production here as well, but they have quite a few down transfers and specifically in-state power programs, guys coming into Utah Valley to play for Todd Phillips, and I really like that. You have Braden Housley from Utah State, Joel Karam from Utah, and Isaac Davis from Utah State. All with really good positional size. All didn't really see the floor a ton at their previous destination, and I think all could be solid pieces for the Wolverines this year. Tyler Hendricks is a UCF transfer as well. He played 12 and a half minutes a game last year. He's entering his redshirt junior year with the Wolverines this season. He's a 6'5" guard who shot 36.5% from deep. And you got a couple of JUCO incomers. Isaac Hawkins, a 6'10" junior forward from Southern Idaho, was ranked 19th in JUCOrecruiting.com. He averaged 13.5 points per game, 9 boards, 3 blocks per game. And then Sherman Witherspoon, a 6'3" junior guard, comes in from Frank Phillips. He was ranked 48th and averaged 10, 3, and 2.5. All of this surrounding a key piece returning from last year in Trevon Leonhardt, who is probably the point guard for this team this year. Played 27.5 minutes a game last year, averaged 6, 4.5, and 5, and shot 38% from deep. There's just what we've seen so far in Phillips' tenure, more reason to believe and bet on Utah Valley, not only just one of the more talented rosters when you're talking about incoming transfers, but one of the better coaches in the league. I think that adds up to probably your preseason favorite by a good bit. I think Utah Valley, again, not a whole lot that I can say about this current roster and who I'm necessarily bullish on being big contributors outside of Leonhardt, but 2 other returners, Jackson Holcomb, Hayden Welling in that front court, going to probably play many more minutes than they did last year, both of them under 15 minutes a game. But I think the Wolverines are a solid program, and the trajectory is only going up right now with everything that's going on. This league kind of being the weakest it's been in quite some time. And then you look at some of the teams that are coming over from the ASUN, and I think under Todd Phillips, Utah Valley is in a really good position to be a really good program over the next decade.
I agree, and I know they lost a lot from that special team last year, but I'm going to blindly back Todd Phillips. They have an identity. And by the way, to win in this league, you got to play defense. Defense wins in the WAC. 5 out of the top 6 teams last year were top 100 national defensive teams. So it's pretty simple on how you win games in the WAC, and what Phillips has been able to do in just 2 years is remarkable. It's another JUCO guy that translates well into this era of college basketball where you have to rebuild your roster year after year. So I'm not concerned that he lost a lot. He'll get his guys. He'll get them to buy in. They'll play defense, and they'll win a bunch of games in this league once again. All right,
that wraps up the team preview portion of the show.
I told you this is a simple one. All right, let's rank them 1 to 7. Number 7, where are you going?
I have Southern Utah. Kind of just waiting on Rob Jeter to prove it to me. I think I like the offensive potential of this roster, but last year or the last 2 years, bottom 3 offense, worst defense last year. So, yeah, Southern Utah.
I had the T-Birds down there too. As much as I wanted to rank them higher, I I don't think they're going to be like 2-14 bad. I think they're going to be competitive. I just think that the other 6 teams are a little bit better. I think that this is going to be a pretty open league.
Relatively outside of the first place position, I agree.
Yeah.
I have Tarleton State 6th, and you're probably going to dislike that decision, but I personally am not a Dior Johnson guy. And relying on some JUCO and D2 guys to be your main sources of offense leaves me questioning it a little bit, especially with how you highlighted how good the defenses are in this league. I'm going to be hesitant once again on a Clyde team.
I have them much higher.
I know.
Shocker. I have Arlington at 6. I a little bit inconsistent under KT Turner. They have not been that good a defensive team, and I think that's why they struggled last year. So give me Arlington in the 6th spot.
So I'm gonna go with the Trailblazers at 5.
Dixie.
I think it's the best roster that Judkins has had, but the best record and finish he's ever had in the WAC was 7-13, good for third last. So I cannot have them much higher than this.
I have Dixie at 5 too. It's an improvement.
It is.
Yeah, like I could see them finishing 7-11 in league play.
Yeah,
I think that's right in 5th place.
I view to Arlington next. The reason why I just think that this is probably their stealing is they have a lot of youth and inexperience in a league that has a lot of upperclassmen in it. So
this is where I got Cal Baptist at 4. Rick Croy, high floor. They're usually around 500. I think they are there once again. I just don't think they have enough to contend for the league title yet.
Yeah, I have Cal Baptist as well at 3. Dominic Daniels, there's some good and bad to his game. He's a volume shooter, and on his off days, we'll see what happens. But I think they've surrounded him with a little bit more offensive talent this year. 6 other seniors in that rotation. I think it's a top 3 team in the league.
Billy Gillispie, top 3 finish. Let's go, baby. Back against the wall. Billy Clyde is back healthy. Got Jonathan Joseph's on his staff again. So yeah, give me Tarleton to finish 3rd here.
At 2, I am going with Abilene Christian. You look at it, they've had back-to-back 500 seasons. Last year, they set a really low bar, a dismal 330th rated offense. But the defense was so good, they returned 54% of their minutes. You're going to make a little bit of a progression, right? So by default, I have them 2nd.
I have Abilene 2nd too. League title contender. I just don't think that they have enough to knock off Utah Valley, and I know you agree with me here.
I do, and it's mainly because I really have bought into Phillips. Last year, I was backing him a ton, and this year they've got quite a few down transfers that you have to. I think you have to be bullish on Phillips being able to develop that talent and get some good production out of him this year.
All righty, 1 through 7. Who wins the league title?
I think the Wolverines sweep.
I think they finished the job too. They got knocked off last year. That sucked away that they dominated the regular season. They were 17-1, and then Grand Canyon got them. Grand Canyon's not in the league anymore. So This is Utah Valley's league to lose now. I think Utah Valley gets it done as well.
Last year, Abilene Christian was 500. They went 16-16 overall, 8-8 in conference. Again, there is a lot of room to improve offensively. That's my sleeper this year.
I guess I'd go Tarleton again.
I mean,
if they crack into the top 3 from below 500 last year, Tarleton, but Abilene, I like the Abilene one too with you.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a bust. I think I'm pretty chalky, I guess.
Would Arlington be a bust for me?
Where do you have them? 5?
6?
It's kind of where they finished last year. This is a tough bust league.
Yeah, well, because they lost, 3 teams or 2 teams?
Yeah. I'll go with let's just do a heads up Tarleton State bet.
There you go. You're hating on my Texans.
Yeah, you have them above 4.5. I have them below 5.5. Finish in the standings.
Frank's got them in last. No way, Frank. Don't doubt these Texans.
I like
they got
it.
too much money. They got that football money now.
That was fun. Big 12 preview coming up at 7:00.
Yeah.
Big South possibly after Database Top 25 rankings tonight. We'll see how much time we've got because I was kicking the can on the prep today with we were both out this weekend, so we wanted to do 3 conferences today, but we're not sure how that's going to work.
If not, it'll be tomorrow. We'll pair the Big South with something tomorrole. So stay tuned. Make sure you have your notifications turned on. So anything you want to add?
The Big Sky is out already.
Like
3 or 4 previews ago. So go check that one out in the meantime.
Yeah, and I got to put. I think I'm one behind. I can't talk. I'm one behind on the podcast feed, so I need to put that out. I was out all weekend too, so I'll get that out tonight.
14 down, 16 to go.
13. Wait,
how many down? 14. This episode was 14, and we've got 16 to go.
17.
30 conferences.
Sure.
Oh, maybe 31.
31. Yeah. 14 down, 17 to go. After the Big 12, it'll be 15 down, 16 to go. Go check out Noah Bienick's work at NoahB77_. I'm at Moneyline_Mac. We are the College Basketball Experience. See you guys in about a half hour talking Big 12, baby. Let's go. You know I'm excited. This is the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here. Cheers. Alan Huss isn't there anymore, Clark. They probably still will.
Players win games, right?
Yeah. That league's got like 5 people.
Crazy.